Jahy, who was once second in command of the demon realm but was banished to the human realm after being defeated by a magical girl, is tired of her pathetic bathtub and decides to go to the bathhouse. Meanwhile, her rival, Sava the Magnificent, also decides to go to the bathhouse as Sava is sick of losing to Jahy. She is shocked to see both Jahy and Landlady at the bathhouse and is scared of Landlady who mugged her. She is also scared of Jahy's potential power, but because she bought expensive shampoo she refuses to leave the bathhouse. Unfortunately, Jahy starts to use her expensive shampoo and Sava is shocked to find that Jahy has already used most of it. She attacks Jahy but trips on a bar of soap and is saved by Boss and soon forms a crush as she can't stop thinking about her. She also loves how the boss is always kind to her, which made the trip to the bathhouse worthwhile. The next day, Jahy is in a great mood because it is payday, which gives her enough money to go to the department store to find a weapon to use against the magical girl. Jahy goes shopping for a weapon but soon gets distracted by numerous product demos of useless kitchen items and soon starts to fill her shopping cart with junk. She also falls for a scam toy that promises her good luck as well as new kitchen equipment. Eventually, she finds the toy section and mistakes it for the weapons section, and decides on a toy lightsaber to help her defeat the magical girl. She doesn't realize until she gets home that everything she bought with this month's salary was useless, and eventually she gives them all to Boss. Jahy's second plan is to trap the magical girl in a trap and then defeat her with magic, so she starts to fill her apartment with traps to guarantee victory over the magical girl. However, after many hours the magical girl never arrives, and when a hungry Jahy leaves to go grocery shopping she realizes she has trapped herself in her own apartment. Suddenly the landlady arrives to collect rent but steps in Jahy's trap, so Jahy launches herself at landlady to save her from getting hit on the head. As they clean up the apartment, the landlady promises to keep Jahy safe. Meanwhile, Sava is having nightmares over Jahy and the dog she encountered. She runs into Jahy, who is fighting with birds for her lunch, but confuses small Jahy as a little girl that looks like Jahy and finds her too cute. Sava tries to intervene but the crows fly away with the lunch, and to make up for it Sava offers her lunch. A depressed Sava asks Jahy for advice on how to be strong, and Sava explains that there is a terrible opponent she needs to defeat but she is too scared to move against her. Jahy relates to Sava since she is also scared of the magical girl. She encourages Sava to try her best. Before they can introduce themselves to each other, Jahy has to run off to work, and Sava is encouraged to confront Jahy at long last at the pub. But Sava finds that Jahy is completely overloaded with work, and a scared Sava decides to confront her another time. The next day, the magical girl saves Kokoro from getting run over by a truck, and when Kokoro meets Jahy to help her find magic crystals, she tells Jahy about her experience with the magical girl. Jahy becomes jealous of the magical girl for saving Kokoro. She tries to show off by transforming into her large form, and Kokoro is impressed with how big Jahy has gotten. Eager to show off her strength, Jahy picks up a big rock for Kokoro to show off her physical strength and casts a spell to show off her magic. But Jahy quickly becomes exhausted and changes back into her small form. Then on the way home, Jahy runs into a cosplaying magical girl. At work, Jahy is determined to improve her situation and get a larger magic crystal. When she is able to take a reservation on the phone, she realizes she has grown too comfortable in the human realm. However, she also finds she enjoys working at the pub even if she is supposed to be a demon lord. Boss tries to comfort her, but Jahy rebuffs her and promises that once she gets enough power to restore the demon realm she will definitely quit working at the pub. Later, Jahy is spying on the magical girl Kyoyuko, and finds that the civilian magical girl is always getting into unfortunate accidents. This is because she took Jahy's magic crystal, which gives humans a lot of bad luck. Jahy plans to steal back the crystal and then beat the magical girl up. She watches as misfortune after misfortune hits the magical girl, and starts to feel bad for how terrible the girl's life has become. She tries to attack Kyoyuko while she is resting but is shocked to find her still awake and is caught red-handed. A nervous Jahy confronts Kyoyuko about the magic crystal, but the magical girl confuses her aggression with gratitude, and it turns out that the magical girl carries a heavy burden of misfortune for keeping the crystals so that other people can have better lives and be spared from their bad luck. The magical girl leaves to hunt for more crystals, and Jahy escapes the school, feeling conflicted about the magical girl. Boss tells Jahy that she would like to make a garden to have homegrown vegetables for the pub. This gives Jahy an idea to grow her own food to save money. Boss tells her that talking to the plants makes them grow faster, so Jahy makes fun of her plant and drowns it with water. She calls the plant Tamaru and decides to take the plant out on walks, which confuses landlady. She is happy to see the plant sprout, but it soon starts to wither as she notices bugs on the plant. She buys lots of insect repellent and tries desperately to keep the plant alive. And the next day, Tamaru is saved and grows larger. Jahy takes good care of the plant. And after some time the tomato plant produces its first fruit, but when she heats the fruit it is way too hot and she accuses the plant of betraying her, not realizing that she was raising a habanero pepper plant the whole time. One day the landlady arrives and announces she is living with Jahy now because she had a fight with her sister, the boss. Jahy asks the landlady to live in the next door unit, which is empty, but the landlady refuses because it would be too lonely to live alone. Jahy only lets the landlady stay with her when the rent becomes free, but during the night they constantly fight over the single blanket. Landlady also leaves her messes all over the place and Jahy tries to kick her out, until landlady says she will do all the chores in the house. Later she runs into Drudge, who takes her to a cafe, and Drudge asks about Jahy's progress with restoring the Dark Realm and reports her progress. And Jahy is shocked that Drudge has already collected many crystals, including several large ones. Drudge punishes herself for not doing better, and Jahy feels terrible for not recovering but actually losing her mana crystal. Drudge asks Jahy to punish her, and Jahy starts to order lots of food at the cafe to charge it to Drudge's account, and Drudge enjoys the punishment too much. Jahy reports that she has found the magical girl who destroyed their world, and plans to have Drudge defeat her. But Drudge is confused and thinks that Jahy has already defeated the magical girl, and Jahy takes credit for her defeat. Suddenly the magical girl appears outside their window holding a mana crystal, and Jahy tries to recover from her lies and says that the girl is actually her new servant. Drudge becomes upset because this new servant is human and she proclaims she will destroy the human in collecting mana crystals and leaves to become a better servant, which leaves Jahy to pick up the check. Jahy returns home to find that landlady has failed all the chores as landlady has no idea how to do housework. Boss calls and Jahy picks up because landlady refuses to speak to her sister. Jahy calls the landlady spoiled because she has a nice home and a nice sister to go to, and she convinces the landlady to make up with her sister. Landlady thanks Jahy for her help, as the sisters fought because the boss wore one of the landlady's clothes. Thinking about the day's events, Jahy realizes she must hurry to restore the demon realm, as her master the demon lord is waiting and probably is not happy. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.